Hello, my name is Beth Megill. I am a certified language of dance specialist, and today I'll be leading you through a direction exploration. Now, direction is an interesting way to orient ourselves in a movement exploration because it really requires that we see ourselves as inhabiting space. So what tends to happen in our current dance climate, contemporary dance climate, is a lot of shape flow in the torso, which is multi-directional, often simultaneously multi-directional, and it creates this very rich, oozy, amoebic quality. Now, what we'll explore today is about creating clarity and precision, to practice the simplest ways of being in space with the greatest clarity possible so that we can really get to know the edges of where we are and what it feels like to own a direction, to be in a direction. So, to start, let's begin standing and looking forward. See the space that is in front of your head, your chest, your pelvis, and your toes, right? That area is our forward direction. So forward high, forward middle, forward low. Forward high is about 45 degrees above our eye level. Forward low is 45 degrees below the horizon. And so there's a real sense of clarity in that corridor of space. Now, behind us, we have our backspace in a similar corridor, a similar hallway of energy. So start to feel the space behind the head, behind the spine, behind the hips, behind the heels, all of that backward space. And now we can gesture to the front in that column of forward space. And we can gesture to the back in that column of back space. But we want to stay very, very contained in that forward to back space so that we are directing our energies to not cross dimensions right now, to not cross planes of space, so that we can really understand where that is. And in fact, I encourage you to close your eyes and reach your arms forward. And close your eyes and reach your leg backward. Where is that back space? What does it feel like? Where is the front space? What does that feel like? Get really clear. And then coming to center. Coming to center, we have place. Place is home base. It's that center of self. It's where you are, just as you are. And then let's reach the arms straight overhead. We call this place high. Place high is that column right overhead. It's like a shaft of light that pours in through the crown of your head. Place high. And now, reaching our hands down to our feet, you can bend your knees as much as you need. Place low. Place low. Right where you are, right where you're standing. Place low. And then again, let's alternate reaching between place high in that shaft of light and place low. And again, you can even feel like you're in a very tight pool of light, and therefore you move your arms through your near space in order to reach up and through your near space in order to reach down to place. This is the column of place. This is our dimension, our vertical dimension, up and down. Beautiful. Now we're going to cycle. So if I reach up to place high and then I reach forward through that forward space, I can go all the way until I go to place low. And then reaching forward again and all the way up to place high. And do that a few times. Forward and all the way to place low. Arcing and circling forward, through forward middle, up to place high. And now taking one arm backward to circle. Back middle, and then place low. And let's continue our circle. So we circled maybe one arm forward and place high and backward and place low. Forward and place high and backward and place low. And as we're doing this, continue to circle your arm. Notice that the rest of your body is facilitating this spatial design. Beautiful. Now, let's take our right side body and move our right side body to the right so that we're reaching that right side body to the right, our arm and our leg outward. And again, exploring the high and the middle level and the low level to that right side. And you can sweep all the way from place high to side middle to side low to place low, and then back again. Place low to side middle to side high to place high. And let's try the other side. So now we're exploring the left side with the left side of the body. And so we're getting this really nice open exploration of the shoulder, and we're asking our hip to explore, maybe in a parallel, or if you want to turn out, you can explore that sideward direction. Beautiful. And again, sweeping from place high to side middle to side low to place low. And again, place low to side middle to side high to place high. Beautiful. Now we're going to cross the midline of the body. So take your right side, your right hand, your right foot, and cross it over to the left side. Now this is tricky, but just explore what is possible to reach across the midline of the body and to reach pure side. It's easy to kind of go on a diagonal, but for now let's aim for pure side. Whether it's perfect or not, we're just exploring that cross body. And then you can open that up to the right side and then across, and you can explore how using the right side of the body can cross over to the left side space. And now left side of the body might reach out to the left and then it crosses over to the right. So you're crossing the midline with your hand, with your left hand and your left foot, crossing over, and noticing how that opening and closing of the body becomes a part of your movement experience of space. Now, the tricky thing is all of this crossing the midline of the body should happen without a lot of turn in the torso and hips in order to stay pure. If I turn too much, then I start to reorient myself in space. So when we're exploring these side directions, do what you can to keep your shoulders and your hips more or less forward. So we have these dimensions, right? These axes. We have place high to place low. We have forward middle to back middle. And we have side right middle to left side middle. And they create the axes just like you would on a graphing, on an XYZ graph. So 3-dimensional space. Now we can explore the planes in a similar way. So I might go place high, and then sagittal plane forward, and then back and up and over. This is the wheel plane. So what we're exploring is place high to forward middle to place low to back middle, and cycling through that sagittal plane as much as possible. Now this is a tricky plane because of course it's hard to reach back, but just find what's available, cycling forward in that sagittal plane, and then cycling backward as much as you can in that sagittal plane. And now let's look at our sometimes called the lateral plane or the vertical plane. This is the door plane. So place high to side middle to side low to place low. So this door plane, imagine that you're standing against a wall and making a snow angel. This lateral plane, noticing what is available to you. And now the horizontal plane, the table plane, which is forward middle, side middle, and back middle. So how can you reach portions of your body into this horizontal plane and maybe arcing around the plane? So I could sweep my arms around the table plane as if I were clearing a desk, or I might sweep my leg, I know, in a grand rond de jambe en l'air, perhaps, maybe, if I'm warmed up, that's possible. So there's lots of options of how we can circle in this horizontal plane. Beautiful, and then come back to place. So we have place. Place is our vertical natural stance, and it is always about the core of the body. Then we can reach outward in our cardinal directions to find reach and leverage and dynamic pulls of energy outward in a way. This creates spatial design, and all of this is perceived from our own sense of front. So our sense of front. So to wrap up, let's do one more exploration. This time, likely you've been facing the same direction this whole exploration so far. So now change to face a new direction, change to face a new wall in the room, and explore forward here and feel that this is forward from your front. The front of your face, the front of your chest, the front of your pelvis, the front of the legs, so that there's a lot of clarity in that forward space. And again, back space, the back of your head, the back of your spine, the back of your pelvis, the back of your heels, right? All of that space into the back. And then the right side and the left side, and maybe how you cross the midline, but stay with your shoulders and hips more or less to that new direction. And now take another turn, face a new direction. And again, forward. Where is forward in that space? Where is backward in that space? Where is sideward? Where is place high? Where is place low? Where is place middle? Noticing. So as we get more comfortable with space, there are instances where we have a little bit of latitude, and there are instances that need to be very, very specific. So, and it has to do largely with the anatomy of the body and the intention, So to the side, most of us don't have 180-degree turnout. So if I gesture my right leg to the right side, it might not be perfectly pure right side. But the intention is that it is as close to my right side as possible. Likewise, it's really hard to reach your arm back middle while keeping your shoulders super square. So the idea is to be as true to that back middle as possible, as clear as possible, allowing some minor deviations in the core torso in order to facilitate the big picture idea. And again, this is part of what makes motif so fantastic, is that it's about the big picture. If we wanted to get really specific about limbs and areas of the body and twisting in the torso, we could do that. But when we're talking about direction in a motif sense, we're talking about intention. And the biggest mistake that I see in dancers is the difference between front and side and mixing up the two by turning the torso. So sometimes we feel we're going side, but if I turn the torso too much, it's really front. Or likewise, I feel like I'm going front, but if I turn the torso too much, then I'll be going side. So it's important to re-examine the geometry of your body and how your shoulders, your eyes, and your hips and your toes are aligned. Essentially, the majority of those body parts at some point need to convey where front is. And likewise, the majority of the back body, the back of the head, the spine, the back of the pelvis, the back of the legs, the heels, right? If the majority of the back of the body is owning that backspace, then we have a sense of where that is. So we're navigating when we need to be very specific and when we have a little bit of latitude. And as we yearn for more clarity, that is available to us. So don't despair if you feel a little uncertain about when things are very specific and when things are open. That has to do with context. That has to do with expressive intention. And right now, we're just asking the questions about front, asking the questions about what is behind us, what is to the sides of us, and how our bodies work, and how we can best facilitate the expression of these directions, the expression of something to the front, the expression of something placed high, and the spirit behind that movement. I hope you enjoyed this exploration, and I look forward to our next time together.